I want to get right to our first story this evening. It has been nearly 3 months since the terrible explosion and fire at Robbins Lumber in Searsmont. The Robbins family continues to grieve the loss of one family member and is praying for the recovery of 2 others.
People in the town continue to do all they can to help those injured and to help the community recover from the shock of the tragedy. 207's Don Kerrigan went to Searsmont to see how they're doing, and is here with us now. Hi, Don.
Hi, Robin. Sam, people in town told us they're generally doing all right, but you can tell the emotion is still there. And that's especially true for the town's longtime fire chief, who shared his amazing story with us. At the Searsmont Fire Station, Chief James Ames is working to put his department back together. What did it mean to you when you got that call?
It was a big help. Big help.
The call about this truck, used, a gift from a department in Connecticut, after Searsmont's own truck that used to sit here was destroyed by the terrible explosion and fire at Robbins Lumber. It was a disaster for the company and for this small town where the Robbins family and their sawmill have been part of daily life for generations.
We're fortunate that we live in this small community.
Selectman Chris Staples and Chief Ames talked with me in the town's library about a calamity that has claimed 3 lives, seriously injured others.
Yeah.
And for the longtime leader of this department was a frighteningly close call.
I read that you got blown up, basically, blown away by that explosion.
I did, yes.
What do you remember about that whole thing?
What I remember about that thing, I've told several people about it. You know how to skip a rock across water? That's what I did, across ground. 30 feet up against the warehouse.
Chief Ames says he was close to the burning silo of wood shavings when it exploded.
I had just come out from underneath it when it took off.
Wow. And how you had some of your department members there?
Yeah, there was
some from others.
There was one guy from Lincolnville with me, and one of our firefighters was with me, and we all 3 ended up in a heap over next to the warehouse. Wow. And they all got up and they said, "Let's get the hell out of here." And I said, I couldn't get my legs to work. And they dragged me out from where we were. And I don't know, they took me out to the hospital and checked me out. It was just a spine, a bad bruise on my spine.
Do you feel lucky?
Yes, I do. I really do.
And it's all taken a toll on this town. The chief's good friend and assistant chief, Wayne Woodbury, died from his injuries. So did firefighter Andrew Cross from nearby Morrill. Alden Robbins, a former member of the fire department, died from his injuries. His brother James is still in a Boston hospital. So is Alden's daughter Lily, an EMT, and Searsmont paramedic Sarah Tompkins is still hospitalized in Portland. So the town came together July 25th to send those 3 a message.
We had probably over 1,000 people show up. We had 2 to 3 dozen volunteers to help pull this off.
Gail Gary Cox, town administrative assistant, showed us the giant cards people signed for those still in the hospital, each of them a part of Searsmont.
Heartwarming. Heartwarming for everybody. It was a way for us to show them that we care, to thank them for everything that they do.
They also raised $54,000 in donations that day, The money divided between fire victims and the fire and EMS departments to replace lost equipment.
How's the town doing?
I think the town's doing pretty well. Having the fundraiser really brought people together.
Did they need that?
We definitely needed that.
For so many here, the loss has been painful and personal.
And they were people you knew.
They are people that we knew, some that we knew very closely.
Angela Silly is town clerk.
If we didn't know them closely, our neighbors knew them closely. They were husbands and sons and daughters and wives, and yeah, it really hit extremely close to home. Robbins is a tight-knit community in itself, and yeah, it really did hit us.
Multiple fundraisers have been held for victims and their families, including by the Brewer Fire Department, which delivered a $7,000 donation to the Waldo County Firefighters Association, plus cards in a model of Searsmont Station. The town office is selling Searsmont Strong t-shirts, about 300 so far.
I think that Searsmont was strong, but it took this event to show us how strong we were.
We used to hate that whole thing forever.
And for Chief Ames, that strength keeps coming in person.
The community sport is unbelievable. The people and they're checking on you all the time to see how you are.
Does that bother you? Does that feel good?
I like it, but
Doesn't bring up bad thoughts?
no, not really.
But there are times, he admits, when it is not easy.
It's like I had an old fire chief tell me, he says, there's absolutely no harm in going out back and have a good cry, you know, to get over it, which I've done several times. It's really
That
something.
emotion isn't too far from the surface, is it?
No.
I know what he's talking about.
For Chris Staples, the fire was also personal.
My sister's a firefighter and works on the ambulance. And just all our young firefighters, you know.
I mean, the Robbins family is
that's
part of this town.
that was a huge blow to this town. Huge. Losing a Robbins family member has changed this town forever.
But they are finding ways to move forward, giving prayers and helping hands and shoulders to lean on. Chief Ames says he has at least 5 new people who want to join the fire department. And add one more. Chris Staples, the 17-year selectman, says he too will become a firefighter. Around here, all are finding ways to be Searsmont strong. And they all still need our prayers. If you want to watch the full interview with the fire chief, it's on our News Center main live stream channel.
Powerful story. Thank you, Don.